getting set here for the 15-round WBA Junior Featherweight Championship at the 122-pound division. There's the challenger, fought twice for the championship in his career. He has a concerned look on his face. Chung. We'll take a look at the tail of the tape for you. You see that Chung has the advantage in age, but Cruz perhaps, not perhaps, definitely in the experience. The weight exactly the same. Cruz has an inch advantage in height and a little bit of an advantage there, as you can see, by an inch in the reach. So the advantages there, looking at it, would definitely go to Leo Cruz, who has more fights. He has a ring record of 42-6 versus the 28-5 against Chung. Chung, the #1 contender for the world title. He has 18 knockouts. The hometown of Leo Cruz, the Dominican Republic, and of course, Chung is from Korea. The line on Cruz, he has a strong right hand, real smart fighter, smooth, works behind his jab very, very comfortably, and most people here in attendance feel that he is going to win this fight. However, most people here haven't seen Chung fight. Chung from Korea, we don't get to see them fight in this part of the world too often. I haven't seen him fight, and I'm sure that it's going to be an excellent fight because Bobby Goodman, the matchmaker, when he puts these things together, knows the fighters. Chung fought Yuno Yamato in Japan in November, and he knocked out Yamato in the second round of that fight. Very serious fighter. He's considered a boxer. His right hand's his best punch. He throws it either straight or crosses with the right hand. He fought for the title, as I mentioned, 2 previous times. Both times unsuccessfully. But he hit down. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. A man cannot be saved by the bell except in the 15th round, where the bell signifies the end of the match. Headbutts inside of 3 rounds to declare the technical draw. The champion retains his title after 3 rounds. The man ahead on points is declared the winner. Scoring based on clean hits, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. We're all set. Third man in the ring, Larry Rodzadilla from California. Here we go, round 1. The WBA title fights are still 15. It's not hard to separate these fighters for you. Chung has all of the Korean writing on his trunks, kind of like a display board. It's all the one color. It doesn't really show the waist area too well. But let's pick up and see what we can talk about. Remember how I said Cruz fights behind that left hand. Chung wild with the right to the head first time. He has almost what I would call, does Cruz, a peekaboo style of fighting, that he holds his hands right up in front of his face and kind of works behind the left jab. Picks punches off exceptionally well. He's very slick, can hit with either hand. Cruz in the green trunks. Chung in the maroon trunks is the actual color. They look black on TV and very dark anyway. Round 1, 15-round scheduled fight. The champion, Leo Cruz, in the green trunks. The challenger, who has no fear of what's going on here, the Korean. Very serious fighter. Fought for the title twice, so it's nothing new for him to be fighting for a title. And it's not that the nerves would get to him. Extremely fast hands has Chung. We noticed that here in round 1, the first thing we noticed. Oriental fighters oftentimes seem to have extremely quick hands because of the extensive training they do in the martial arts. And this man is no exception. Rodzadilla from California. The judges, Figueroa from Panama and Rudolfo Hill, also from Panama. Remember, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect here. We're just underway in this world title fight. So far, Chung has been the aggressor here in round 1. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid to show that he can roughhouse it a bit too. Tough little cookie is Chung so far. Cruz hasn't opened up yet. Just the way you see him standing there behind his gloves is the way he fights. He's got good quickness to his hands as well. Chung knows when you're coming to a territory to fight a guy like Cruz in a place like the Caribbean area, that you must take the title from him. and thusly he is much more aggressive than his Cruz. Cruz has the experience at the professional level, 48 professional fights, 42 wins. Very, very popular fighter all over the Caribbean, especially in his native Dominican Republic. All right, we go across the way with Chung, and I'll have to give round 1 to Chung, the challenger. He definitely landed more blows and threw more, forced the fight more. There's the ring record. It's pronounced Sun Ten Chung, like it was H-E-N instead of H-Y. Excellent crowd on hand here. They love their boxing at the Roberto Clemente Coliseum in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Here we go, round 2 in the scheduled 15-round World Junior Featherweight Championship fight. That's the 122-pound division. Cruz will have to get a bit more aggressive. He can't allow Chung to build up too many points. Cruz just started to get aggressive in the very last closing seconds of round 1. Chung has come to fight. Cruz has done nothing so far except catch punches. He hasn't opened up yet, but he can open up, believe you me. You don't get to be world champion by not being slick, and he is slick. He knows what he's doing in there. He may want Chung to come in this heat. You know, this time of year in Korea, it's cold. So a lot of the training done by Chung is in cold weather areas. Scores perhaps the best punch of the fight, a lightning left jab to the face of Cruz. Spun his head down a bit. Cruz paused back with a left of his own. This is round 2 in a scheduled 15-round world title fight. Reminder, Larry Holmes is not with me tonight because he's training for what Don King has called the Crown Affair. Another big battle in the desert at the fabulous Dunes Hotel on the 20th of May. 2 world heavyweight championship fights in the same night. Unprecedented. This one here developing into what is going to be a good fight. 2 excellent boxers, 2 good punchers. Both have 18 knockouts on their records. Cruz really hasn't opened up yet. We're waiting for him to open up. And Chung has landed a nice left there and was able to slip away from a wild punch and scores another real good right hand. Gotta wonder now where Cruz may want to open up just to make sure that he knows he can hit this guy if he wants to. Chung is definitely showing some lightning hand speed. It's really noticeably different here in person. I'm sure watching on television at home that you can notice the hand speed of Chung. This is the way Cruz likes to fight in close, and Chung is not allowing it to happen. He's staying back at his length, coming in with lightning shots, but no change in expression whatsoever in the face of Leo Cruz. And don't forget, this is only round 2. Coming up to 15 seconds remaining in round number 2. Cruz can hit with either hand, he can counter punch, he can do it all. Chung so far has landed the heavier blows. He won round 1 and is about to win round number 2. WBA World Junior Featherweight Championship on the line, the 122-pound division. Now I'm expecting to see Cruz pick up the action a bit because at this point he hasn't done anything. Now he picks it up, lands a couple of shots to Chung. Now Cruz wails to the body. Now Chung knows he's in a fight. Cruz has begun to open up a bit here in round 3. This Cruz showing some of his powers. He's able to get through the 2 hands of Chung. Now the referee, Radia of California, warns the fella from Korea to stop when he comes in, separates the 2. Of course, it's always the job of a fighter to protect himself at all times. It's Cruz in the green trunks. Chung, the Korean, #1 challenger, scores with the right hand, but nothing too heavy on the chest of Cruz. Cruz has definitely changed his tactics here in round 3, picked up the pace a bit. But Chung doesn't want to let him control it. Now they get the clean break. And back to action again. Chung through round 1 and 2 has showed us some good hand speed. Cruz has not really opened up yet. A little bit here in round number 3. Now the referee warns him about hooking his elbow over the head of Cruz. Chung, you know, is an experienced fighter because he has all the moves. He knows how to get a guy off balance, knows how to cause confusion in the ring. But Cruz knows all the answers to all of those things, too. He just let him do it. Oh, good right hand scored by Chung. But Cruz coming in. It seems like Cruz can open up when he wants to, but he just has decided not to explode yet. That happened to a fellow who waited too long by the name of Alexis Aguero, who he waited for an entire fight to open up against Aaron Pryor, and it never happened. We don't think that'll happen, but we haven't seen enough of Chung to know whether he can do it or not. Can he continue to do what he's doing here in round number 3? And that's pick off the assault when Cruz decides to open up. One way or the other, we've got a good boxing show. Good shot, but taken on the hip. Sounded good anyway. See what I mean about Chung with the hand speed? I don't know what term to use here. Just at the end of round 3, Cruz and Chung got into it. Chung, the aggressor. Chung continues to control the pace in the early going here of round 4. He has come to lift this title. There's no question about it. He's not sitting back. He's not waiting. Cruz, of course, as you folks well know, really a very experienced fighter. Scores with the right hand. Very popular here in San Juan, being from the Dominican area. Down here in the Caribbean, they all know him and really respect him. And I'm sure that many of you people around the country have seen him fight. Good left, gets through again. And that's a snapping, real lightning left bolt that gets through. Chung has real fast hands. No question about it. It's great to see a good foreign press corps here from all over the Japanese area, Japan, Hong Kong, people here from Korea, all coming to see if their man can lift the title. Oh, a right hand gets through after Cruz finishes up his flurry. Chung turns it right back around again. Cruz tries to work to the body. Chung is a tough cookie. If Cruz wants to mix it inside, he'll mix it inside. If he wants to stand back and punch, he'll punch. If Cruz wants to do it after the bell, he'll do it after the bell. He's tough. He looks meek to look at him, but he is tough, believe me. No change of expression at all for either fighter. Both fighters came here to prove something. Cruz to prove that he belongs as the WBA world champ, and Chung, who's been disappointed twice in title shots, wants to take the title back home for his entire country. Referee Radzadia telling Cruz, keep him up, keep him up. Remember, on low blows, if a fighter goes down, he must get back up or he can't be counted out. Cruz again wild and catches Chung on the hip. Good inside fighting here in the exchange so far, about even inside. Cruz looks stronger, but he hasn't really used any of his strength yet. It's the strength of Cruz against the speed of Chung. Two punches landed with lefts, and he tried to follow with the right. Nothing too heavy. Gut to the head of Cruz. Now, for those that thought that Cruz was going to, in fact, cruise through this fight, Chung has something for them to think about as the bell ends round 4. we go here to round number 5 as to the philosophy of the judge in scoring. We mentioned the 4 areas: hits, aggressiveness, ring generalship, defense. And Chung, as far as I'm concerned, is leading in all those qualities. But Cruz, I have the feeling, is yet to open up. If I'm right, then Cruz is in no serious danger. But if I'm wrong, and in fact, Cruz is unable to open up against Chung, it could be a long night for him, because Chung is building up some points. No question about the fact that Chung is able to beat Cruz when they both go to punching at the same time. He has lightning fast hands. And consequently, the style of Cruz, instead of boxing and working behind that left, he's going to throwing wild left hands or wild right hands behind him. I think he's making a big mistake in changing his tactics against Chung. But the frustration of Chung's quickness of his hands is bothering him. There's just no doubt about it in my mind. When Cruz does open up, instead of working the way he normally does behind that left, throwing a couple of lefts and coming up with rights, is more or less hooking with both hands. Hooking with his left and kind of throwing roundhouse rights with the right hand. Doing some inside scoring here, all right. Some of the best shots now being scored by Cruz. There's no question the crowd is in favor of Cruz here, but Chung fighting back gamely. When they're in clinches, Chung continues to throw shots to the kidneys, back of the head. All I can say to him is he's come to fight. This is the best round so far for Cruz. Chung caught a right hand coming in. In round 5, Chung was cruising along, building up some points, and all of a sudden Cruz has opened up a bit here in round 5. Said, I've let this happen too much, too long. I'm not going to allow this guy to control it. And this has been the best round, definitely, for Cruz. Cruz catches him with an uppercut. Chung now knows he's in with the world champion. He's had things pretty much his way up to this point, but he's game. He continues to fight back. The end of round 5, and a good round for Leo Cruz. Glad you can be with us. Larry Holmes is training, so he's not with me tonight. He'll be back, I'm sure, after his world title fight on the 20th of May. Pace of the fight changed a bit in round number 5. It had been Chung, and now Cruz had a real good 5th round, and here in round 6, we're yet to see how it develops. Cruz takes a light left of the jaw. His head bounced back again with the left hand. He cannot allow Chung to control too much. Cruz lands a right uppercut, and that's flurry there. Cruz knows what he wants to do. He's trying to soften him up to the body with a vicious left hook, which cut him just in the kidney area. Chung's face is beginning to get real puffy. The body shot's beginning to take a bit of a toll. Seems like Chung has landed a lot more punches, but they have taken no effect on Cruz. Both fighters a little puffy under both eyes. Neither fighter has been down. Nobody really shaken thus far in the fight. Nobody really rocked with a real good one-punch shot. Chung doesn't change expressions too much, but every so often he has, you wouldn't call it a smile, almost a smirk on his face. No matter what happens, Cruz never changes his expression. Both fellas came here to do business and to do battle. And that's exactly what they're doing. Cruz has definitely turned things around back to his favor. Chung is still game, though. on it. Chung missed wild with that right hand. It looked like a good punch, but it never did reach its destination, which, of course, was the chin of Leo Cruz. Cruz, the champion from the Dominican Republic, trying to change things around. He did it in round 5 and trying to continue it here in 6 as the Korean comes on strong. All the blows landed. It's Cruz landing the heavier one. This is round 6 of the scheduled 15-round WBA World Junior Featherweight Championship fight. Chung nailed twice with good left hooks that time. Cruz still patient. The end of round 6. Round 7, scheduled 15-round WBA World Junior Featherweight Championship fight. Leo Cruz has turned things around a bit in the past couple of rounds. The Korean was just kind of cruising along. He's still game. Uppercut scores. Cruz softens to the body, then goes back with uppercuts to the head. Straight lefts to the head now. Chung came here to lift the title. We thought that maybe he was turning things around too much in his favor. Wondered when Cruz would open up. We found out. He decided to change it around in round 5. He thought it went far enough. We had the Korean winning rounds 1 and 2 and 4. We had round 3 even, and now we have Cruz winning 5 and 6. We're in round number 7. So a fairly even fight. I haven't unofficially scored, just 1 point separating the two, as the Korean fighter Chung continues to come on now. Cruz spins him around, and finally referee Larry Rodzadia from California moves in and slows him down. Gets him out there in the center of the ring again, where Chung tries to go back to work, but Cruz is doing the job. He keeps him off him this time. Now before, earlier in the fight, it was Chung that was doing things like pushing down on the body and setting the pace of the fight, the flow of the fight in his favor. Now Cruz is doing the same thing, scoring almost at will with punches in the last couple of flurries. That wasn't happening earlier in the fight. Again, we're in round 7, and again, this one is scheduled for 15. Chung is game as they exchange in a real good flurry here. Cruz scored with the uppercut there, trying to set him up with rights and lefts. Now you've got an old pair sixer. Toe-to-toe, they're battling. This is just a brawl now. Not even bothering to get tied up. Both guys clubbing away with both hands. Closing seconds now in round 7, and what I would have to consider one of the real good rounds of boxing of the year. Real good round of boxing. Bert Sugar, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm using the term anyway. That was a great round of boxing. We're in round number 8. This, of course, coming to you live from the Roberto Clemente Coliseum right here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The Korean still game in spite of the fact that Cruz has turned things around in the past 2 or 3 rounds. He still wants to fight. He in no way thinks that he's behind in the fight, and in no way has anything in his mind except to take this title back with him on that long journey across the big Pacific Ocean. Both fighters cruising a little bit more here. Referee Rodzadia says, hey, cut out the roughhouse stuff. Let's get back to the good boxing that we had in round 7. You could expect him to keep that pace, but here it comes again as Chung is nailed with the left. Every time he gets hit, he gets, I want to call it a smile, but it's not quite a smile. It's a smirk on his face. I don't know whether, maybe it's a grimace in his face. I don't know. But when he gets hit, he has a tendency to change expression just slightly. Chung is not fighting with the confidence he had in the first 4 rounds. Cruz totally unshaken by anything that's happened in this fight. Look of determination in the eyes, serious, straightforward look in his face. And there'd been a couple of times in the early going when there were a couple of shots thrown after the bell, a couple of questionable pushes and whatnot. They could have shaken a fighter with less experience, but not Cruz. Cruz came in here with a fight plan to obviously study his opponent the first couple of rounds, open up later on, and that's what he's done, and it's been successful. As Cruz is hitting his man now the way he wants to hit him. He'll hook with a couple of shots. He'll go with a straight left, then move from side to side and try to clip him from either side. Chung answers with the right of his own and the left of his own. Chung still has lightning speed in his hand, but he doesn't seem to have the power that Leo Cruz has. That's the left uppercut catches Chung. Down he goes. The count is up to 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Now the referee dusts off the gloves. And here we go. That's the first knockdown of the fight as Cruz tries to move in for the kill. The Korean is wobbly, but he's still trying to fight. Cruz is trying to keep him soft to the midsection. The bell ends round number 8. Well, by golly, you can't ask for better boxing than this. Leo Cruz finally dumps Chung off his feet. All right, here we go, round 9 with a surprise knockdown in the closing 30 seconds of round 8. And now the fight going from all Chung in the first 4 rounds to Cruz through 5, 6, and 7. A big knockdown in the 8th round, and suddenly we have Cruz out in front of the fight by a couple of points. But the most important factor is that Cruz has taken command of the fight. He's turned it around in his favor. Now this fellow who's come over here halfway around the world to fight in San Juan from Puerto Rico, he doesn't want it to end like this. And Cruz wants it to end now. This is round 9. Cruz says it's gone long enough. I want to end this thing. The Korean is game. He's come here to fight, and fight he is doing. Cruz scoring the punches, though, now. Where in the early going, it was Chung. Right hand gets through that time. Left hand on the hip. No damage done to Cruz. Cruz looking for the opportunity to nail his man. He dropped him with the right uppercut. And you can see that the legs have gone a little bit rubbery of the man from Korea, Sunan Chung. He's still game as he tries to work the body of Cruz, but the tremendous physical shape of Leo Cruz answers with nothing more than leather from those Everlast gloves on the face of the man from Korea. Body shots are not going to do it. It might set up the punches for Cruz, but Cruz is unaffected by the body shots of Chung. As you saw in the replay, in the 8th round, it was body shots that set up the right uppercut that eventually had Chung tumbling to the canvas. Another shot scored by Cruz. Still, you can see the tremendous speed of the hands of Chung, but Chung is wobbling around on those legs a bit. He doesn't have the real good strength in his legs that he had earlier. Chung came here, he came here ready to fight, knew he was in a war, continued to control the first 4 rounds of the fight. Then Cruz said, I've let it go too far. In the 5th round, he opened up. And in the 8th round, he finally tumbled a tough Korean fighter with lightning hands. I tell you, with the aggressiveness of Chung and round number 9, I'd have to score that an even round. This is round 10. a bit. Kind of waiting for one guy or the other to explode here in round number 10. Both fighters know that this one's scheduled for 15. They've trained for 15. And this heat, they would both like to end it before 15, but both of them want the win, so it can't be everybody's way. Again, Chung hitting as he separated on the clinches as he has throughout the fight. He's using all his tools to do everything he can. Cruz trying to soften him up with that powerful left hand. The book on Cruz is a strong right hand, which really eventually knocked Chung to the canvas in round 8, but it's been the left hook that has done most of the damage throughout the fight. As you can see now, Cruz punching with both hands, coming in, trying to finish things off. But the Korean has no part of it. He's well trained. Unleashes one of his own. Wild with the right hand is Chung. Cruz trying to work behind that left hand again. Now the movement in the feet. I think this is good for the Cruz to keep the foot movement going. Try to get Chung off balance and then drop the right hand on him. There's the right uppercut. That's the one that dropped him before. Right to the body again, another uppercut. And that's the end of round 10. That round definitely in Cruz's favor. The last round fairly even. This is where the training pays off in the late rounds and a hot night. The mid-80s outside today, high humidity. Inside it's comfortable enough, but the humidity's high and the television lights making these two fighters pay a price for the money they'll get for winning this one. Cruz is tagged with a right hand by Chung that time. We're in the corner of Leo Cruz, and that's all the noise that you hear over my shoulder here. Midway through round 11, as you see in your screen. Chung trying to make a better round of it here in round 11, attempting to come back, and so far having perhaps a better round than Cruz here in round 11. Cruz was coasting there from round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fairly even. 10 was Cruz's round again. But this round, he's kind of... Cruz is cruising is all I can say. He's trying to get through and preserve a bit of energy, perhaps for a big flurry in the next round. Or maybe yet to come in this round. Who knows? Chung puffy around and beneath both eyes. He was down in the 8th round. Took an 8 count. His eyes were still clear, and up he got. By the boards, and I'm going to give that one to Chung. He was a little bit more aggressive, landed more punches. Up again. Fight sanctioned by the World Boxing Association under WBA rules. Also sanctioned by the Puerto Rican Boxing Commission here in the Don King Sports and Entertainment Network. Now, referee Diaz of California tells Chung of Korea, keep the hands up, keep them up. International panel judging here, the referee and 2 judges. Two judges are from Panama. Referee is from California in the United States. So the Dominican fighter and the Korean fighter will get a fair shake. Nobody really taking command here in round 12, and this thing is still wide open for anybody to take. The difference in the fight, and the only difference in the fight in scoring, as Chung scores 3 light lefts to the head of Cruz, is the knockdown. The knockdown round, you scored 10-8 in favor of Cruz. Other than that, fairly even. Chung winning the early portion, Cruz winning the late portion. But Cruz out in front in the fight, make no mistake about it. I have to say Chung is the more fatigued of the 2 fighters. He doesn't have that real crisp leg movement that he had in the early going. A little bit rubbery in the knees, some of the elasticity out of it. And Cruz has still got plenty of snap in his legs and plenty of snap in his punches. Throughout the fight, Chung's hand speed has been excellent. Cruz really hasn't opened up here in round 12. It's a fairly even round in scoring-wise anyway. And that's it. All right, here we go, round 13, and Chung walks into a left hook to open things up here. And Cruz wants to finish strong now. He's let things, round 11 perhaps, go to the Korean, are very close. And I scored round 12 almost dead even, since nobody really took command. Reyes had a couple of heavier shots, but the Korean landed more blows in the round. So that's the way I scored it anyway. Again, my scoring is only to give you a guideline as to how the fight is going. The referee and the 2 judges, as we showed you on the screen, are the guys that do the judging. There's Chung landing 3 punches in a row to the head of Cruz. Nothing really does any damage to Cruz. Again, Cruz very, very slightly puffy underneath the eyes. Chung's right eye is very, very puffy, as he gets caught with another left hook, and blood trickling from the nose of Chung now. Cruz has never been damaged, never been hurt, never visibly shaken, even in the early rounds when Chung was building up points. Chung was knocked down in the 8th round. Both fellas would remind you of determined cats in a bucket, maybe fighting. As soon as they engage, they both explode. And finally, they back off. Halfway through the 13th round now. Good left hook scored. That shows you the strength of Cruz, because actually that left wasn't flush. Now that's why I mean it's so difficult to score, because when Cruz scores a heavy shot like that, Chung has landed about 7 or 8 punches in the fight. But Cruz scored the heavier blow, so I don't know. It depends on the judge and how that's scored. There's no question about one thing. One real heavy shot is much more damaging than 3 light ones. Unless you've got heavyweights throwing them. Then light shots the size of heavyweights do damage to the head. You know that because the left jab of a Larry Holmes, for instance, is the same as a punch. The accumulation of lefts from a guy like Ali took its toll. But this size, this weight, you wonder. A good single heavy shot, much heavier than 2 or 3 light ones. There's a right scored by Chung to the head but Cruz really just shows that nothing shows. And once again, the referee Rodzadia, warns Chung about hitting on the brake. Of course, they know going into the fight that they must protect themselves coming up to the 10-second mark, remaining in round 13. Protect yourselves at all times. This almost sounds like a cliche, but when you see things like this happening, now you know what it means and why a fighter has to protect himself. A couple of good shots towards the end there of round number 13, even that round up for Chung once again. In a fight now that I have separated by only 1 point. Cruz needs to have a good round here. I've had the opinion throughout the fight that he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. He scored the only knockdown in the fight, but it's that close with just 2 rounds remaining. Chung is a tough cookie, came to fight. Walks into a good left. Lands a couple of his own. Cruz nails him from the left arm. Radzadia from California again has to separate them. That time they get a clean break. Chung down in the 8th round, but not really too badly shaken. He was leaning forward and walked into a right uppercut and came down off his feet. Now you see what I mean about fighting like two wildcats in a bucket. When they get engaged, they engage. Cruz has had no change of expression throughout the fight. Sunan Chung has been more of the brawler, had a tendency to hit on breaks, had a tendency to continue action after the bell. He came here to fight, and whatever's built up in his mind, he wants to fight as much as he possibly can while he's here. The only change of expression he has is when he's tagged, and then he kind of either grimaces or smirks a bit. Neither fighter has attempted to talk to each other. I don't think they could if they wanted to. One man speaks Spanish, the other one speaks Korean. Chung has come close twice to lifting titles. He's had 2 title fights before. He's just slightly behind in this fight. If he came as this close before, he almost deserves a shot again at another title. Maybe the WBC World Junior Featherweight Championship. Who knows? Kid's tough. But this one is not over yet. Round 14. Cruz having a better round this time than the last couple. But Chung has landed his share of punches in this round as well. Closing 20 seconds now. If Chung could finish with a big flurry in this round, he'd win the round, and he'd have it dead even going into the final round. Cruz getting the better of this final exchange. Chung dribbling from the nostrils, blood. And here we are, round 15, the final round of this World Junior Featherweight Championship, the 122-pound division. It's been a fine, fine boxing show throughout. Both fighters need a strong finish for the win. Cruz to nail it down, the Korean hopefully to lift it. The people that are fans of Sunan Chung. Once again, referee Radzadia tells him to keep the hands up. Once again, the scoring 10-point must. Scoring done by 2 judges from Panama and the American referee. Chung throwing most of the leather here in the 15th and final round. Both fighters, you know, are reaching way down to the heart now for that extra whatever it takes to become a champion. To suck it up and go for the final couple of minutes of this fight, to finish strong, and Cruz to try to retain his fight, his title rather, in what has been a difficult fight. He knows he's been in a fight. Chung gets through with that light left. Chung scores with a good left and right combination. Cruz just letting him do whatever he wants here. And again, 2 quick shots to the body as the referee attempts to separate him, but Cruz bounces a left right through the chin of the Korean. Sunan Chung is tough with a capital T. He came to fight. He's using everything he has in his arsenal to try and lift this title from Leo Cruz. You get the idea that Cruz is saving just a bit for one big final flurry. Again, Cruz never in any question in the fight, any trouble. Appears for the later rounds to be a bit fresher Although now we see a little cut dribbling from the left eye of Cruz, and that's the first blood that's come from him. It looks like it's cut above the eye, too. Chung, a little bruise below the left eye. Chung just is relentless. He keeps coming up, pushing, shoving, fighting unflinching, bleeding from the nose. Both fighters giving it all they have. Both guys fatigued. Whether they can finish with a strong flurry we're expecting, no, they can't. Cruz figures he's retained his title. Chung's people are satisfied with the effort and will get the official decision very, very shortly. He was scheduled to be one of the Panamanian officials, but just before the fight. Here we go with the decision.
La decisión de los jueces. El ganador por decisión unánime y a un campeón junior pluma, Leo Cruz.
Well, as we expected, Leo Cruz retained the championship.